the show that you're working on, Stay Close, they've shown me 2 episodes and already I'm hooked. I absolutely love Harlan Coben stuff. And, you know, you're diving straight into the action, but it's all so mysterious. What was your reaction when you first read the script, because you'd worked with him before?
Well, I got the book first because they'd called me and said, the stranger has obviously done really well. Do you want to work with us again? Here's the idea. Here's the book. So there was no script. I only had the book.
Wow.
And his books are so easy to read. You literally just can't put it down. It's sort of similar to the series. So my first question was, is the character going to be different enough from the one that I've literally just done? Because I didn't want to turn up in another Harlan Coben sort of doing the same thing. You know what it's like when you want to be different.
Yeah.
But the character was, I mean, they were aware of it as well. So they were like, no, it's a really different character. He's going to look different. He's going to feel different. But I just love the themes that Harlan kind of plays with, which is a sort of identity and reinventing yourself and your past catching up with you. And how do you hide yourself, especially with technology? You know, for the central character of Megan, Cassie, you know, it's sort of people's fantasy and worst nightmare that they've tried to reinvent themselves, but then the past comes back to catch up with them. So it was, I love the story.
For sure. And, you know, did you, because you knew the character was different, you didn't mind like jumping right in there and working with him again, because obviously of his amazing novels, you didn't have any doubts at all?
No, and the reason being is that all 4 of them, Nicola, Harlan, Danny Brocklehurst and Richard Fee, the way they work is they're so kind of democratic. They say yes to everything until it's not possible. So they're really open to ideas and suggestions. So the whole thing about Ray having these tattoo sleeves was an invention that, because I wanted to give him a sort of very visual identity, which was different to the previous character, but also I wanted him to sort of map his lost memory in sort of visual form. And they were like, yeah, great, let's do it. And so to have producers and writers that go with ideas like that, it's just brilliant. You know what it's like. It's
so much fun when they embrace, you know, what you feel in your heart.
Yeah.
Should be right for that character.
Yeah.
And how long did you film for? Because, you know, people sort of, sometimes they can mock us a bit going, oh, you know, you're getting so into the character, you care about the tattoos, you care about this, but it's a long chunk of your life and you live, eat, sleep, breathe it. How long did you work on this for?
It's about 7 months, which actually is really quite luxurious for television. Normally they try to bang out 8 episodes in a shorter time. So they do it well, you know, they spend the money and they make sure the locations are brilliant. But you're right, actually, what you're saying, like living and breathing the character. So I do collect a lot of stuff early on in preparation that will sustain me through the shoot. So I always build like a soundtrack, because, you know, if I've been away for a week and I come back to set and have to pick up where I left off, I use music a lot to sort of get me back in the vibe. And I studied a photographer called Tim Hetherington as the base for who the character was. So I had a kind of collection of ideas of who he was in the past. So yeah, it kept me going through the 7 months. But going back and working with that crew again was just so brilliant. For me, it's all about the crew, you know, those mates that you love working with. And the pandemic was tough on people because we were all kept apart, but it was so nice to see everybody again. So it was a lovely reunion.
So it's nice that you as an actor, you feel safe, you know the team, but it's the perfect kind of situation, really, cocktail, because you've got this whole new character, but with a team that you trust.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you are so different in this to the last one. How long did it take for like the transformation with the tattoo sleeves and all of that stuff? Like, how did that come about and how long did it take each morning?
We managed to kind of figure out with costume department how much of the tattoos you'd see, so that most of the time I only had to do my hands because I was wearing long sleeves.
Yeah, we love that in the morning.
You know what I mean? So we really kind of tried to keep it to a minimum of how many times you'd see the whole thing, because that took about 2 hours, and sometimes they would have to throw them on in the middle of the day. And I remember the makeup designer sort of pulling her hair out and being like, oh, why did we decide to do this? So we did limit it a little bit, but it's fun to do a transformation. And because because the character was using his hands a lot with, you know, you'd see the camera in front of his face. I just thought have something really interesting, you know, in his hands to distract from my face.
No, I mean, your part it's so good, and it was so different from the last one. Like you say, it must have been so much fun. But are there going to be like, because obviously I've only seen the two, they've only let me see the two.
Right.
Are there going to be like the usual epic twists that he brings? Are they coming?
Yes, and it is different from the book. I mean,
really?
Yeah, he really expands some of the characters and some of the relationships, and it gets kind of darkly comedic in places. But yeah, there are some big twists coming. Yeah.
Wow. And do you think with this particular one there could be a second series? And if so, would you like to be involved again?
It's the kind of, had you asked me that about The Stranger, I would have said yes, you probably could do a second season of The Stranger. With Stay Close, I think it's definitely closed at the end. It's okay. It's so final.
You obviously know the stuff that I don't know yet, which I'm gagging to know, of course.
Yeah. And there is a sort of open-ended, unresolved thing that happens, but the big event is revealed.
Okay. Has it been one of your favorite parts to play?
I mean, it's been one of the biggest challenges was playing a character that doesn't remember anything, because when a writer's trying to write a lack of memory and they're putting them into a police interview situation, it's a sort of dead end every time a question is asked, because the answer is, I don't know, I don't remember. So we had to sort of play around with, you know, what happens when you don't remember something. You either admit that you don't remember, or you lie, or you invent. And I thought that was what was really interesting for me, is like, he was almost kidding himself. He'd created a past for himself, which was not the truth. So he believes something about himself, which is not true.
And do you think he did that to be able to live with himself, or for other means?
It's a bit of both. I think you can't live with a vacuum behind you. You have to create a memory where one doesn't exist. But the problem with Ray is that he's created a false memory of something really traumatic. So he's actually kind of almost admitting guilt to something that he has no memory of, which I think was a challenge. I know.
Wow.
That's sad.
But like, so complex and so lovely to investigate and play. And the show is landing on Netflix, isn't it, on New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve. I don't think anyone will be sober.
So what will you be doing for New Year's Eve, for our little Christmas edition with me as editor? What are you up to, Richard?
I will be watching fireworks at the bottom of a mountain in Park City. And on New Year's Day, it's a sort of a tradition which I've had to sort of dispense with because of COVID, but I usually start the year at the top of the mountain and ski down. And I do it because I was so sick of waking up with a really bad hangover and feeling a little bit depressed that I decided, start the year on a high, get to the top of the mountain, breathe the air, and just start with really good intentions. So that's what I'll be doing.
That sounds so gorgeous. And I think we all get to that point. I think we've like been there, done that.
Yeah, I've done it. I've waited for too many night buses in the rain. It's no fun. Is it?
It's not glamorous. It's not fun. No. And I don't know why. It's almost like you erase your memory of how bad it is.
Yeah, it's true.
A bit like your character.
Yeah. Blank it out.
And listen, Christmas, hopefully this one won't be cancelled this year. Are you a big Christmas fan? Are you a bit bar humbug? How do you feel about it this year?
You know what I think, and you'll probably relate to this as an actor, is that I tend to give Christmas over to everybody else because I've spent so much of the year away from friends and family. I'm like, just give it over. So I usually sort of go, I'll go to my brother, go to see my dad, and whatever they want to do, I'll go with it. But it's usually exactly the same as the year before.
And do you have like any traditions in the Armitage household? Are there any little traditions that you always have to do?
You know, my brother's picked up this tradition that we had with kids, and I'm pretty sure it happens in every single household, which is just leaving out the little plate of a mince pie, a carrot, and a glass of sherry for Santa. And he does it with his kids. And the game is that he'll try and drink the sherry because they won't go to bed. So he'll kind of come back in and be like, the sherry's gone. Has Santa been already? And it's like, oh, no. Mummy just had that one. Let's top it up again. So, but we played the same game. So yeah, leaving out the food for Santa. I'll be doing
I absolutely love that the sherry's gone. I'm glad it's not just us. We've got a little one who's 6.
Right.
And he's also like, come Christmas Eve, he's like, we have this little tradition where we have to open a present each.
Right.
At midnight. And obviously he wants to stay up for that now. He's no fool. So, and then he notices that the older Sherry does go.
It's gone. We're like, how do you get into bed then?
So, I kind of just have to bribe him. I just have to basically say, listen, he's coming really soon. I just know it. I can feel it. He's coming.
And then what time is he waking up?
Oh, he's up at about 5 or 6. And then he's like just exhausted throughout the day, but deliriously happy like a drunk person. It's hilarious. But I have to ask you finally.
Yes.
As a wonderful storyteller that you are, what is your favorite go-to Christmas movie and why?
Oh, gosh, that is a really tough one. I'm just trying to think what would be on in the afternoon that I would always watch. It's probably going to be Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow.
It's not a Christmas film, is it? But it's that.
No, but I know what you mean. It's always played around that time of year.
If it's on, I will sit and watch it, and it's usually Christmas Day or Watership Down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a bit of action. You've got a bit of tears.
A bit of sadness. It's not very Christmassy though, is it? But
no, but you know what? It's all about emotion, and that's what Christmas is all about.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much for talking to me and shedding some light. I'm just so excited to see the rest of it. Genuinely, as another actress, I'm a big fan. And
you'll have to try and be in his next one.
Yeah. Well, because I've only got a little one who's 6, I need to just do a little part.
Put it out there to the universe.
That's got a good point. That's got a good part to play, but a little part.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
There you go.
All right. Well, listen,
Happy
loads
Christmas.
of love.
Nice to see you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.